Hora v'simcha, Shabbat menucha, Yom ze leYisrael. Hora v'simcha, Shabbat, Shabbat menucha, Shabbat, Shabbat menucha. Your gift to those who strive with you is joy and light. This day is light and joy for Israel. You have blessed this day above all others. Shabbat, Shabbat menucha, Shabbat, Shabbat menucha. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai. Shabbat, Shabbat menucha, Shabbat, Shabbat menucha.
Shabbat Shalom, friends. We have some tardy presidents who are coming upstairs from a Shabbat dinner, so they'll be joining us in here soon. But we'll get started anyway. It is 7:32 after all. So welcome, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. I hope you guys will pray along with us throughout our service. I hope you'll join us for the oneg outside afterwards as well. It doesn't look like we need the reminder for little ones, but if you really needed it, there is a calm, quiet space just behind those windows called our Shalom Sanctuary. As you guys know, under your chairs is our Mishkan Tefillah, the blue book that says Mishkan Tefillah. If it says Torah, it is the wrong one. Friends, if you need to step out back, I saw that, I know, you're looking like, did I grab the Torah? I'm not sure. No, good. If you need to step out of the sanctuary, doors over there, doors over there, doors back there, and doors behind me as well. Let's see, take a second, put those smart watches on silent, make sure your phones aren't gonna beep, alarms don't go off, none of that. And of course, Mazel Tov to the Arrow family as Leah Arrow becomes Bat Mitzvah tomorrow evening. If we haven't met before, we definitely should. Rabbi Rachel here with cantorial soloist Jessica Tillum. Take a second, turn to somebody that you did not drive here with for Shabbat. Wish them a Shabbat Shalom, and we'll join back in with this lovely little nigun.
Shabbat menucha. Thought that sounded different.
It did. A little nicer once we get it turned on. All right, friends. So let's take a second to leave behind the week that was so that we can be totally here for Shabbat. So go ahead and, if you'd like, flutter your eyes closed, back against the chair or feet on the floor. We'll just take some centering breaths to help us enter this space. So deep breath in together. Let it out. This next breath will hold all the ruckus of our week. Deep breath in. We let it out. This final breath to help us enter Shabbat. Deep breath in. We let it out. We'll flutter our eyes open. I'd like to invite forward Nancy Kaiser and Pam Glick to come on up and help us light our Shabbat candles. We'll be on page 120. If you would please go ahead and rise. You're welcome to use the pre-lit candle or whatever you're comfortable with, truly. Oh. Beautiful. We'll do it once more in song, bringing in that extra love and light and warmth.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kinishanu b'mitzvot
mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Thank you, thank you. And friends, if you would like to light your own Shabbat candles, come on forward. It looks like our main candles didn't get lit yet, though. But come on forward. We'll turn to page 142 as everyone is lighting their Shabbat candles. We welcome in our Sabbath angels with Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bolachem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzidkem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Please be seated. I'd like to invite you to turn to page 126 with me. And I kind of want us entering this Shabbat service with this prayer in mind. So let's pray this English together. Page 126. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics and no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created, and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us, and to bring that vision to life. L'chadodi, page 138.
Lecha dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat lekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat lekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat lekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, hishmiyanu el hamyochad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shemo tiferet v'letila. Lecha dodi, lecha dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nilcha, ki mikor habracha, merosh mikidem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila. Lecha dodi, lecha dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Hitorari, Kiva Oregu mi Ori, Uri Shir Daberi, Kevod Adonai Allah Nigla, Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat Nekabela, Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat Nekabela.
We rise and face the door.
Boi v'shalom ateret ba'ala, gam b'simcha uv'tzola, toch emunei am segula. Boi chala,
We face forward.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela.
We remain standing. Our call to worship on page 146. You guys sound awesome.
Lai 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 Yai lai 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 Yai lai 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 Yai lai 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 Yai lai 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 Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, Le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, Le'olam va'ed.
Friends, we turn to the back inside cover of our prayer book, a little roll into dark. It's kind of been a dark day out there, so the darkness has been with us for a little bit, but this is our blessing, our prayer, our recognition of the ever-changing tides of creation, a reminder that we too continue to be co-creators with God.
Roll into dark, roll into light, night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light, night becomes day, day turns to night. Boreyom balayla, golel or mipnei choshet, golel or mipnei choshet, v'choshet mipnei or. Roll into dark, roll into light, night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light, night becomes day, day turns to night.
We feel our feet on the floor. Page 152, we stand tall. Perhaps we close our eyes. We declare God's oneness. Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Please be seated. On page 154, we have our words of Ve'ahavta. And if you've ever wondered about Ve'ahavta, been interested in Ve'ahavta, tomorrow is the Torah study to be at. I'm doing an in-depth on Ve'ahavta because our Torah portion this week, Parshat Ekev, includes the part of the Ve'ahavta that we dafka don't do in the Reform movement, that there's 3 major paragraphs to the Ve'ahavta. We chant one. There's a second one that's in the morning version that talks about seat. That got put back in by the Reform movement once Reform Jews started wearing talitot again. But there's this whole middle chunk that's taken out. And it's this little piece of Torah that is a really complicated theology. And so we'll dive into that tomorrow. Tonight, we get to stick with the regular here, a little Ve'ahavta, talking about the different ways that we can be mindful of mitzvot, to go out there and to be our best selves. Together, page 154.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Page 157 as we get ready for our Micha Mocha. Let's pray responsively at the top of the page. Let's pray together at the top of the page. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Page 158, Micha Mocha.
מי כמוך בעלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושי פלד, נורא תהילות עושי פלד. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע יום לפני משה, זה לי אנו ויאמרו, זה לי אנו ויאמרו. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Mi chamocha ba'alim Adonai, mi chamocha nehedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot osei feled, nora tehilot osei feled.
So this prayer of Micha Mocha, it sounds, when we say, where is it? Okay, I'm looking for the exact Hebrew, vanecha. Okay, so your children, so malchutecha ra'u vanecha, your children witnessed your sovereignty. The word, like banim, is for children, bnei Yisrael, the children of Israel. And the children of Israel, it's supposed to be this, metaphor that we're all God's children. But when you really imagine as if it's only the children standing at the sea, your children witnessed your sovereignty, the sea splitting before Moses and Miriam. Whether you have kids, grandkids, like, or you don't, and you've seen a small child see something miraculous. Like that is the awe that we're all supposed to feel at an extraordinary moment. Now, I don't think we're ever, any of us, going to witness, maybe we will. Actually, hold on, pump the brakes. Maybe we will witness a moment as amazing and fantastical as something similar to a sea splitting before our very eyes. You know, it's pretty miraculous when we see even man-made phenomena in the world be at work. And so when we have this opportunity to think about witnessing miraculousness, we have this yirah, this awe. So that word in Hebrew, it huddles between fear and awe. And so we sit in the awe of Mi Chamocha, but we also hold on to the fear piece in the next prayer in Hashkivenu on page 160, that it's answering that call of yirah that is kind of a fear of I need protection, and God can be that protecting power for me. God can be that thing that causes awe and wonder in my life, but it can also be a place of fear of, fear from. And so we ask God to be that sheltering presence for us when the transition occurs, so that we can feel God's presence in times of awe. Hashkivenu 160.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom V'hamidenu Shomreinu Lechaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom V'hamidenu Shomreinu Lechaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom V'hamidenu Shomreinu Lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom V'hamidenu Shomreinu Lechaim. Lechaim. Lechaim.
Page 162, our prayer for Shabbat V'Shamru. It's that reminder that you guys have all taken very seriously by virtue of sitting in these chairs tonight and getting your tushy to synagogue. And those joining online, you guys too. But it's that idea that you have set aside the time. Even if it's one of the 25 hours of Shabbat, you've made time for that. You have. You are in a place where you're not supposed to be on your phone. Everybody seems to be doing a great job of that. So if nothing else, that is one phone-free hour. So there's the relaxation of watching a TV show. And I don't know about you, but a lot of us probably watch TV shows while also being on our phone these days. Okay? And that is a certain kind of Shabbat relaxation. But there's something different for a little deeper inside. That's what we're doing right now. That is this idea of Vishamru, to really set that time aside so that we can regain that spiritual energy, those holy vitamins, to kick us off into the rest of the week. Vishamru, page 162.
Vishameru B'nai Israel et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם לעולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבת וינפש.
So for as long as I can remember, I have said little prayers before I went to bed. Now the prayers, they became more codified, if you will. I said like the same thing every night, starting in probably my preteen years. And that's because a major event occurred that totally rocked the safe bubble of my suburban childhood. We're going to take kind of a hard pivot here. So that event was this tragic murder of a college student who was working as a lifeguard at my neighborhood pool. And so she had graduated from the same high school I was districted for. She went to K-State. She was home for the summer, working a summer job. And so for many in my area, she was everybody's college-age daughter. And it was June of 2002, which meant I was getting ready to head into the 6th grade, spending a lot of time at the synagogue in preparation for my bat mitzvah. I know some of you are giggling at the fact that I was in 6th grade in 2002. I know, but it is relevant because I had to tell you my grade. Okay, I know. And so this whole being in 6th grade piece, it meant that I was in these preparations for my bat mitzvah. It was time to talk about God, why bad things happen to good people, reflecting on my purpose in the world, the smaller things of life for a pubescent tween. And after the incident hit the headlines, I remember a distinct shift in my nighttime prayers. So every single night for 29 months, I prayed that they would catch Allie's murderer. And in November of 2004, a tip came in from someone in Connecticut, having recognized the suspected murderer from the sketch displayed on billboards across the country. A few more things fell into place, and this guy was arrested in Connecticut, convicted, and will forever be locked away. Now, my prayer, the prayers of thousands, had been answered. And to sit in that success, that feeling of relief, that closure, it is a powerful space to hold. But it doesn't take long for the other thoughts to creep into our mind. Perhaps you're already having them. Things like, if only all prayers could end with the outcome we have in mind. Why did it work this time, but other times the prayers don't seem to work? And friends, I think that's because prayers, they aren't about finding cures. They're about finding and providing healing. And I think part of the urge to pray, it comes from an understanding that there is evil in the world, and that when we feel helpless and out of control, at least we can put those good words, those good vibes, some form of intangible positivity into the universe. And our Torah portion this week, Parshat Ekev, it emphasizes this point when it teaches, O Israel, what does Adonai your God demand of you? Only this, to revere Adonai your God, to walk in divine paths, to love and to serve Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, keeping God's commandments today for your good. For your good, that you should receive reward for doing them. that we should put out goodness into the world not only for God, but for our personal benefit. Thus, to pray is to put out goodness into the world through our thoughts and our words. A goodness that we pray turns into some sort of divine, or perhaps just action, without saying divine before it. That a goodness comes from praying, that goodness being action. But we also know that despite our best intentions, things don't work out in the black and white ways that we sometimes would hope. From his book, When Bad Things Happen to Good People, the title intentionally beginning when rather than why, Rabbi Harold Kushner shares, God does not cause our misfortunes. Some are caused by bad luck. Some are caused by bad people. And some are simply an inevitable consequence of our being human and being mortal, living in a world of inflexible natural laws. And for this reason, there are other parts of Parshat Ekev that people have struggled with throughout the ages. That piece that I was talking about at the Ve'ahavta, it's a text that says basically, if you obey my commandments, then the rain will come at the right time and you're going to have food. If you don't obey my commandments, I'm going to be angry and bad things will happen. Now, the Reform movement and those who come together to create our prayer books found these lines to be antithetical to our approach to Jewish living and how we have seen the world play out. That despite being a part of the traditional Shema and Ve'ahavta, we don't have these verses in our prayer book. Instead, our lived reality pushes us to the first text. What does God demand of us? Only this, it says, to revere God, to walk only in divine paths, to love and serve your God with all your heart and soul. The idea being, when we fulfill those words, positivity will find us, comfort will find us, and perhaps not in the form that we expect. But when we surround ourselves with goodness, goodness can return. Whether standing here in the sanctuary, or on the edge of the ocean, deep in a forest, or lying down to go to sleep, we all have the power to let go of the things in this world that are beyond our control. And in that vulnerability is the chance to call out to the universe, to pray for the things that are out of reach from our immediate actions. So these moments are the moments to pray for the healing of a loved one, even when we don't know whether or not they will be cured. These are the moments to pray for the damaged souls that we encounter, even if we don't know whether they are too lost to be fixed. These are the moments to pray for the things that seem out of our grasp. And these are the moments to find the strength in knowing that our neighbor desires these outcomes as well. We have all lost things in our life: people, pets, relationships. And the lesson of Rabbi Kushner in coping with loss is one that drives my theology and perhaps yours as well. And he shares, because the tragedy of loss is not God's will, we need not feel hurt or betrayed by God when tragedy strikes. We can turn to God for help in overcoming it, precisely because we can tell ourselves that God is as outraged by it as we are. Now, if God is as outraged by it as we are, why doesn't God solve the problem, or what we see as the problem? No one can answer that question with 100% certainty, and if they claim that they can, you might want to watch out. Because such a question is part of the unanswerable list of questions in our world, which means it's the wrong question. Instead, the real question is, how does sending a prayer out into the world make us feel? Do we feel comfort? Do we feel connection to a higher power or our neighbor or our community? And if we don't feel it every time, does that mean we should stop? Do we keep going? As a lifelong prayer, before I think I really understood what that even meant, and continuing into today, when I feel like I understand a little more, having prayed with hundreds, if not thousands, of people, I know that prayer works. Now, how it works will mean something different to each of us. But when we find what works for us, then we can truly fulfill God's request to walk divine paths, to love and serve with all our heart and all our soul. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may this be God's will. Shabbat Shalom. We continue in those prayers, turning to page 164, as we'll pray together and then have that time for those very personal, silent prayers. I'll ask you to rise, page 164.
Adonai sifata tiftachu fi hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, v'Konei Hakol, v'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Geula Libnei B'neihem, Leman Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham v'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei HaKol Atah Rab Le'Hoshia, Morid Hatah, Mechalkel Chaim B'Chesed, Mechayei HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'al Gevurot, Umido Melech, Melech Meimid, Umechayei, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, U'kdoshim b'chol yom yahalu hasela, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el hakadosh.
Take a moment for those silent prayers. When you've completed those prayers, I'll invite you to please be seated. We'll join back together on page 178.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Ne'olam. Shalom Rav Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Neolam, B'tov Beinecha Livarech, Et Amcha Yisrael, Bechol Eit u'Bechol Shah, Bishlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Neolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Neolam. Tasim Neolam. Tasim Neolam.
It is my pleasure to call forward, Co-President of the Board of Trustees, Edie Disner, for some announcements. Edie, if you'll pick up the microphone on your way, and you're welcome to stay down there or come on up.
I can only do so much. I can't read with glasses on and a microphone.
Fair.
Sorry. I don't want to fall over. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Rabbi, Rachel, Jessica, thank you so much for the beautiful service. Just a quick show of hands. How many of you, it's your first time to be in the sanctuary since Jessica joined the congregation? Pretty fantastic, right? Thank you. Yeah, we're really excited. A couple big things that are happening here at the synagogue. Sunday afternoon and again Monday evening, there will be almost 300 people here joining together to hear a presentation from Brendan Murphy, who is a teacher at Marist High School, and he does a huge thing on anti-Semitism entitled Why the Jews? And so if you're not registered to come this time to hear him, the program will be repeated September 11th and 12th, I think. So if you have not been able to, if you're not able to come this weekend, I hope that you'll come soon because it's going to be amazing. There is a program that will be coming up on September 9th, which is our Sisterhood Shabbat Dinner. And it is the first in-person event that we can have this calendar year. I say calendar year because in July everything starts over in synagogue life. And we really want to get a good turnout, so we hope everybody will come for that. The space that we're in, this beautiful space, we have so many beautiful spaces here at the synagogue. And just before services, the past presidents joined together for Shabbat dinner. So for those of you that don't know, you have a room full of past presidents, leadership, which is pretty amazing to have that here tonight. And we are going to end the evening with a delicious oneg. If you are a baker or if you like to buy baked goods, it's a perfect way for you to enjoy the end of Shabbat. And we have a great in-house baker if you want to participate. There's an email that goes out about that. So don't leave tonight without getting a sweet treat. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, thank you. Do you want to be my microphone runner too?
Oh, sure.
Oh, wait. No, Jocelyn. She's my microphone runner.
Yeah, Jocelyn's it.
Thanks, Jocelyn. So turning to our sort of Shechianu moments here, those good things going on in our lives. And the good thing I was going to say was how wonderful it is to have so many past presidents here with us tonight. Amazing, amazing leadership to get us to this point. I don't think 10 years ago you thought this is what your bima would look like. So mazel tov on it. Hope you're happy. And that we continue to do great things together. So if you have something that you are excited to share, birthdays, anniversaries, give a little hand up so that Jocelyn can see you, share your name and what you are sharing this Shechianu moment for.
My name is Scott Walsey, and I am a past president, but tomorrow, Jill and I will be married 50 years tomorrow.
50. Woo, woo, woo.
And I love her more today than I did yesterday. So.
Wonderful.
My name is Laura Beth Summerfield, and my older sister, Andrea Levy, is turning 50 on Sunday.
Woo! Oh, Justin, all the way over there. She's like, excuse me?
My name's Rick Shapiro, also a past president, and this Friday night, my lovely bride, Nancy, will be celebrating a birthday number not to be mentioned.
Mazel tov.
Thank you. I'm George Fox, another past president, but I'm here to tell you that Harold Coates, my old friend, anonymous name, has spent 48 years working for the federal government, had his 48th anniversary yesterday.
Wow. Anybody else? Jocelyn, do you have one? Not this week. Okay.
I could say that I recently started rehearsals with the lovely Temple Emanu-El choir in preparations for high holidays, and it's been so wonderful meeting everyone and getting started.
Love it, love it, love it. So for all of these great things, we have the option to turn to page 648 for our Shehechianu, thanking God for reaching this moment.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
We have these prayers of declaration for happy moments and milestones. We have prayers for other things, prayers for healing, healing for body, mind, body, relationship. The power of these prayers to know that people are thinking of us can really mean everything to the one in need. And so this Shabbat we are thinking of Alvin Levy, Sherry Anderson, Cindy Hirsch, David Ben Leibel, Benny Edelson, Asher Chosmer, Deborah Gilbert, Harris Friedman, Brett Samsky, Shmuel Ben Devora, Mayor Ben Rachmiel Vedina, Ashish Sharma, Ken Schiffer, Kathy Cook, Michelle Lappin, Marlene Perlman, Yvonne Martin, Jennifer Herman, Linda Schaefer, and Stephen Schwartz. If there's somebody that you are praying for their healing, I invite you to share that name aloud as my eyes meet yours. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Our Misha Berach can be found on page 371. Please rise. If your neighbor's good with it, wrap an arm around. We join together. remain standing. Jocelyn, you want to come up for Kiddush? Yeah, I guess so. Page 123. You want to grab the Kiddush cup? Boop.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon inkilanu, zikaron l'maaseh bereshit, ki hu yom techila lamikra'e kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, ki vanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat koshecha be'ahava uvratzon inchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mikadesh haShabbat. Amen.
Want to take a drink? Hope it's juice.
L'chaim.
Is it juice? Good. Just checking. Oh, where are you going? We remain standing. 586. Aleinu l'shabeach. Go ahead.
Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kigoye haratzot, velo samanu kamishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam. V'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu, v'nemar v'haya Adonai lamelech ol kol haaretz bayom hahu. Bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo, u'shemo, u'shemo echad.
Please be seated. Thanks, Jocelyn. I'd like us to turn to page 184. Sometimes when I get here early, I just open the prayer book looking for some inspiration. They have this prayer located actually to start off a Shabbat morning, but I think it's really fitting here in our service at this point. So I'm on page 184. Each of us enters the sanctuary with a different need. Some hearts are full of peace and gratitude, overflowing with love and joy. They're eager to confront the day to make the world a better place. They are recovering from illness or have escaped misfortune, and we rejoice with them. Some hearts ache with sorrow. Disappointments weigh heavily on them. Families have been broken. Loved ones lie on a bed of pain. Death has taken a cherished loved one. May our presence and caring bring them comfort. Some hearts are embittered. Ideals are betrayed and mocked, answers sought in vain. Life has lost its meaning and value. May the knowledge that we too are searching restore our hope and renew our faith. On this Shabbat, we are thinking for the families observing Shiva for Kenneth Allen Zoller, for those in Shloshim, for Elena Usgarten Halip Eidelman, for Marion Sis Sternberger Cohn, Helen Schmalheiser Cranman, Sheila Gottlieb Morris, and William Cohen. And for those whose yahrzeits fall on this Shabbat for observation, we observe the yahrzeits for Jerry Apple, Maddie Bell Baker, Lucille Berman, Howard Bialis, Jack Browner, Abraham Al Caswell, Julius Cohen, Bronislaw Drukars, Anatoly Elkina, David Fox, Francis Goloveski, William Gummer, William Kavanaugh Hurd, Millard Hoffman, Teresa Hoffman, Ruth Hurwitz, Stephen Canner, Joe Ann Klein, Bernard Klug, Esther Kuttner, Louis Kuttner, Henrietta Kopetz, Fanny Linsenberg, Joanne Litt, Jerome Jerry Mindell, Bernard Peskin, Eli Preluck, Molly Reese, Terry Barron Siegel, Nachman Seidman, Goldie Frager Siegel, Charlotte Simon, Sadie Simon, Annie G. Scott, Abe Sugarman, Bernard Uretsky, Nathan E. Waldman, Rose Wolpert, and Harry Winsberg. If there's a name I may have skipped or mispronounced, I invite you to share that name aloud. If you're in the first 30 days mourning the loss of a loved one, I invite you to rise so we may recognize you. If you're in the first year, Yud Bet, observing the loss of a loved one, I invite you to rise so we may recognize you. If on this Shabbat you're commemorating a yahrzeit, death anniversary of a loved one, I invite you to please rise. And if it is your custom to rise for Mourner's Kaddish, as it is here at Emanu-El, I invite you to do so now. We join together in Kadisha Tome, page 598. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kari v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'amei omaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudesha barichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechamata, damiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'asei shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Shalom b'mromav, hu ya'asei shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. All right, friends, challah is back. You might say, challah back? Okay. All right, voila. Challah, hand on a shoulder, perhaps, touching our challah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, everybody.